Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another creative aging program here at the library. I'm Sharon, and I will be happy to take you on your creative journey tonight. Tonight we've got a video from Shannon, our Sizzlen stamper. If you guys need any kits for those, again, always send me an email, sharon.rice@pueblolibrary.org. And I'll be more than happy to get those out to you. And let's see here, do I have any other announcements? Yes, next week we will actually be having a creative aging program. So we will be having a program to do Mother's Day cards. If you guys normally sign up with us, then I do have, you've got those kits already. And again, if you don't, sharon.rice@pueblolibrary.org, or you can register on our website for that because it's still open. All right, without any other further ado, let me go ahead and get started on this video from Shannon. Hold on one sec, okay, guys?
Shannon here with Shannon Sizzlen Stampers, and I am coming to you from my Southern Colorado stamp studio today, ready for some exciting fun with one of my local community curbside kit classes. So this kit was designed around creating some positive vibes that you could give or share or send, and it's using several items that are retired from Stampin' Up! But let's go ahead and look at what all you're going to have in your kit. So you've got this little clear cello envelope bag, and in it you're going to have a random stamp. They could say anything. So that, of course, is just your extra gift that the library purchases and makes available for you to have one. You're going to have some sort of little dots. Those are extra. 2 or 3 of these. They could be black or the coral pink. A piece of black ribbon. This is the end strand, so mine is much longer than yours. You're only going to have one of these. I had an extra, so it's in my kit. And these are little paint containers, and I am using the ink refills that Stampin' Up! Sells for our ink pads. So you either have Coral Calypso or Flirty Flamingo. They're just mixed as a variety. You're going to have a butterfly that is on this designer series paper of a butterfly that is previously retired paper. However, should you want some butterflies, we've got some great selection right now. You're going to have half of a coral or Flirty Flamingo flag. So it's a sticker. It peels off like so. You're going to have a card base. This is either in red, like this Poppy Parade red geometric design, or you might have a petal pink design card. So those are a little bit mixed. You're going to have a little, it's petal pink on one side and white on the other, little tag. You're going to have a 4x6 paper. And I've got 2 here just to show you. These were from a series that we carried previously called Coloring Book. And so they're all kinds of nature that are black and white, and they're white on the back. So you've got one that's 4x6 postcard size. Then you have a 3x4, some sort of Memory and More, one of our previous Memory and More card keeping cards. And all of them have some sort of black and white theme to them. And if you haven't noticed, that's kind of a theme, is some black and white with a few pops of color. And then you have a square of this fun. This was an extra purchase. It was not Stampin' Up, but it's wildflower seed paper. So it's recyclable. It can be used to toss out or put in the yard for the recipient. They can remove that and put it and plant it in a little pot or a dish or out in their yard. And wildflowers will supposedly spring up from it. So I think that's worth a little bit of sunshine and a positive vibe, is that you can send someone some flowers in a card. So those are the items that you have to work with. Now, I wanted to teach a couple of things for this. So we're going to start probably with the easier project. My allergies are acting up, I think. My nose is itching. And we will go from there. So the first thing that you have, let me put this navy paper on my workstation just so that you can probably see what I'm doing a little bit better. And let me move the rest of these items off. So this is that 4x6 postcard, and I designed it for you to use just like a postcard. It is heavy enough to be a mailer, and the back is already perfectly white. It's ready for you to put someone's name and address here, your return information, and a stamp. But before you do that, why not add a little bit of fun and a little bit of color? And don't forget, on postcards, they normally have that little line. Let me just see if I've got a pin here. You know, a standard postcard has a line that goes down through it, and then you address it over here. Your return goes here, postage goes there, and then you can write a message right in this area. So it's already designed for that look. Now, I love this because you could send it just as is with a fun message. Hey, I'm thinking about you, sending you a smile, sending you a paper hug, whatever you might want to put. You can leave it totally black and white and let them color it in with whatever they have, or you can color it in. Now, I am using one of Stampin' Up's, our new water painter pens, and I love these because they're no mess. They have a tube right here that you fill water in, and you get 3 pens, and they have 3 different points. And this one is a nice wash one right there with the wide. I'm going to use the, actually, I'm probably going to use that middle one today. In your kit, that's one thing that you have that I neglected to make note of. You have a paintbrush in your kit. So your kit should have everything in it that you need, save it be water. So I'm going to squeeze mine down. Now you are going to be able to take your little container, and you can add water directly to here if you like. I suggest you put a little bit of water in a little cup and then bring your ink up here into the lid a little bit to kind of create that till you get the color mixed the way that you want it. So I'm just going to let mine, on these pens, you have to squeeze to get that water. And then you can just paint random little areas to give a bit of life to your painting. Well, something is not right. I should have just used the brush that I normally use. That one is not working for me. There we go. I'm like, what is going on? Normally with this brush, you can just pull your ink and squeeze as you go, and you will pull in that ink color to the wash that you want. We'll go back in here and try to blend that out a little bit. But you have plenty of, so less water. See how you get a darker shade? And I'm trying to do this a little bit darker up here on this top hidden where it's folding over, because I feel like there would be less light getting into those petals on the underneath. Now, this is not designed for you to paint the entire postcard, and it's not designed for you to necessarily use multiple colors. It is designed to have a monochromatic look, and you're going to see as we go why that's, you know, we're going to be using different shades of that monochromatic look as we go. So see, now when I come back in here, I want to make sure I have a lot more water in that brush so I can keep a little bit lighter shade in there. Again, watercoloring does not have to be perfect. Trust me, mine is not. So I've painted that one flower, and maybe I want to add just a little bit of color in a couple other spots. So maybe this bud and maybe the inside of, let's see if we can get some really deep, dark little insides on these flowers. We'll go back in and we'll go ahead and put those deep, dark little pollen seeds. I don't know what they're really called, but, and then this little pod. Okay, and that's it. Now you're going to want to let that set aside and dry. And you'll clean your brush off just as you would any other regular watercolor brush with water. Rinse it off. And as you let that dry, you may want to set, you know, something heavy, a book or something on there to make sure that it lays out and dries nice and flat. And once you have let that dry, if you're heavy on the water, see, I was a little heavy there as I got better. So you might want to practice on a scrap paper first. Once it dries out, though, you can go back in and write your message. All right, so that is project 1, to send a positive postcard, a positive vibe postcard. All right. The next one is to send or add a little card or a bookmark. So this card can be attached to the front of any other card, or you can easily punch a hole in the top and thread some of your black ribbon if you have some left or other ribbon and create that. Now, once again, I put my inks away and I forgot we had one more watercoloring project. You're going to pull back out that monochromatic color, coral, Calypso Coral or Floaty Flamingo. Get your paintbrush wet, and you may have totally different designs. These are all very, very different. And so I'm randomly just painting and not even very neatly. I just want to add a little bit of color randomly to my little card. And mine has these fun letters, so I think that I'll, you know, put news, maybe paint news a little bit. Every card is different. Every card has 2 sides, so it's up to you to pick what you want and to make it what you want. Now, with that said, let me show you what you might want to do with this as another option. And that is to take this cute little pennant banner, and you can add that somewhere on your card, wherever you might like. So I think for mine, I'm actually going to, I'm not sure. I may not even add that on mine actually here. I think what I might do, you have a couple of varieties, so I'm going to show you a variety of things. You are going to need some pieces to decorate this little bag we're going to do. So just remember that. But you also have this petal pink tag. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put my stamp on my little block. This is really not my normal ink. This is a StazOn ink, but whatever. We'll make it work. I'm going to stamp that right in the middle. Fabulous at any age. Your stamp sentiment may say something completely different. And you may have built up a little stock of them from each month. All right. Now, if you have dimensionals, you can add it. The news, fabulous at any age. And like I might put in a big Sharpie. Because remember, this is just about sending positive vibes. So it's fun to add some of your handprint writing along with the stamp. Now, if you happen to have any of the dimensionals, pop dots, whatever, things that are Stampin' Ups are called dimensionals, things that are going to give lift and dimension to your project very easily. You can pop a couple on there. I recommend everyone have them. They're very inexpensive, and you get tons, like 700 or something, or 1,000 for $4. And you can add that. And then if you have ribbon left after you do your bag handles, you can take a little bit of ribbon, and I call it a lark's knot. It's folding the ribbon in half to where I have a loop. The loop end goes through my hole. And hopefully I didn't get that too close to the top, but yeah, we'll see. We'll go with it. I will have to be really careful when I pull the ribbon through because that hole is so close to the top. And it's seeming to be a little tedious for me today to get that. I'm just putting a second hole in there to try to make it easier for me on camera to get that through. All right. So now we just pull that through, and you've got a very quick and easy little bookmark that someone can use. They can stick it in their book. They can and think of you if they're reading something. I know there's lots of us that read everything digitally or on screens, but it's fun to get something else like this. And even if they don't use it as a bookmark, it's great to have it sitting up at your desk to know that someone's thinking of you. Another option that you could do would be to put a piece of magnet on the back to where it could stick to someone's fridge. So those are a couple of options on that card. So now let's go ahead and go to our main project of this month's kit, and that is this fun card base that we are going to turn into a little small gift bag. So to do that, you will need a scoring tool, or you will need, oops, I got to do one thing first before we score. Or you are going to need, like I always say, a ruler and the back of your scissors, or bone folder. If you have a Stampin' Up! Pick tool, you can use the spatula side, but you need something like one of these tools that you can make measurements and score. So scoring is what creates on a card, this line right here that you can see, that is a score line. So that's what scoring is. And I may in fact score that on the white side so you can see it a little bit better. This is a standard A2 card. And what that basically means, it's an 8.5 sheet of paper by 5.5. So it's an 8.5 by 11, cut in half, wide or hamburger style for you teachers out there. The first thing that you will need to do is cut off a 1/2 inch off of one side. It doesn't matter which side, unless your card front is a certain way, but oops, that's a little, what am I thinking? So we want to cut off a 1/2 inch. Okay. Now make sure you pay attention to which side that you cut off. Goodness, that's not okay. And as always, keep this cute decorative scrap. In fact, that could be another element that you could add back to this card, or you could add it. You could add it on your postcard to give a little bit more dimension. All right, so some fun elements that you can do. I always keep all my little scraps because those are what provide little, little unique touches. All right, now let me move my paint brushes out of the way and my dimensionals. For this project, you're going to want some good glue. I'm going to be using tear tape, but you can use glue dots. You can use a Snell adhesive, especially a strong one like Seal Plus or something that's made for box building. You can use the white multi-purpose glue. It will just take you a little bit longer, and you might have to clip your sides till they dry. But nevertheless, it can be done. Or any other double-sided tape that you might own. Okay. So if you see me reading, looking like I'm reading, it's because I am. I have to have this list of scoring so that I get it right, because I can't, you guys know me. I have a hard time remembering things anymore. So if you have a great scoring tool, you're going to use it. If not, I suggest that these measurements that I'm going to give you, you pre-mark them with your ruler and pencil on your cardstock on the back of it, on the white side, and then go back with your ruler and that edge, straight edge, and create it. Now, the important thing to note is the side that you cut a 1/2 inch off of, that short side, is what you are going to be on your left. So you want it on your left-hand side, and it is the long side going across the top, short side down here, okay? And we are going to be doing the scoring from the long side down. So we are going to, our first scoring is going to be at the 1/2 inch mark. So we're just going to score that right down. Your next score is going to be at 1 inch. The 3 3/4, which if you'll note, that is now already there for you. That is, we're going to make use of that initial card score that comes with it. 4 1/4 is your next score mark. 4 3/4. And then 7 1/2 way over here. Okay, so does everyone have those marks? In fact, I'll just go ahead and write them on the back of here so you can see them. 1/2 inch, 1. This is 3 3/4, but it should already be there. 4 1/4, 4 3/4, and 7 1/2. All right, now you're going to turn it to the short side. So now we have that short side up at the top and the long side is vertical. And we are going to score this edge over here at 1. Whoops, I almost did it at 1/2, but we want it to be scored at 1. And at 5. So this one is at 1. And this one is at 5. Okay. I'm going to leave that on just for a moment for those of you that might be following along. Now, there is another way to do a DSP trim, but because you're, unfortunately on mine, you're going to see a little bit of blue probably. But because we have such a cute printed cardstock, I wanted to leave that white anyway. So we're going to skip that step. Now, we are done with our scoring tool for the moment. So next, using your straight edge, where did my bone folder go? Because that's really what I want. There it is, hiding from me. All right, so now you're going to really score and burnish. This is called burnishing. And that's when we are really folding in those, along those edges, and you're making them, you want to get nice, crisp folds. So we're going to sit and burnish every score. And you notice that for these burnishing, I am bringing the card up, the design part, the print up to me. All right, now that's just the way I burnish. You may have to do it other ways. Don't press too hard or you'll get something like that. You'll get a little bit of white showing through, so we don't really want that. And then on this one, the skinny edge, I'm going to fold it to where I'm burnishing it to where it's going out, like so. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back and I'm going to use my pen to mark. You have a square here. We want to get rid of that. You have this square here, but we want to miter this. So that means you're coming in at an angle. Oops. From this inside point. You're going to cut all that out. But wherever your rectangle meets that line, draw a line up at an angle. That's mitering. So you're going to take that square out. So go ahead with your scissors. Oh my goodness, I don't have my small paper snips in here. I traveled over the other weekend and those are in a traveling thing. I didn't get them back in here before the video. So I'm just going to snip that out. And then I'm going to come in and cut this little square out here. And just follow the score lines. You're just cutting right on the score lines. So now you have a thing that looks like so. Now, you're going to, where I make these blue lines are where you're going to cut. And I'm suddenly, my brain is not working. I suddenly can't think properly. I'm going to write it right here. When I go to make this, I may be wrong. I think that's what it is. We may have to cut more out. I'm going to cut less in case I've made a mistake. On these, you're literally just cutting right along the score line up to this score line here. Okay. So now you can kind of see how it's going to be coming together. So I want to fold this in like so, because you want to create this, whether you look at it as an M or a W, but you want to create that on that side. Okay. Think of a bag, think of a gift sack. That's how it folds in. Okay. I'm hoping that you can see that on my camera. I'll hold it under there. Now you have to think about this. When you go in to create this piece, when you glue this together, it is going to do the same thing. So this edge has to go in like so, so that when it comes around, oh. Okay, let's just leave that tag out so I can try to get this showing what I want. In essence, you're going to get that same look because we're going to end up adhesing that, right? Like so on there. And then that part will bend and create that little piece. Okay. Because you're going to have this part folded down. So you're going to fold those down and then you're going to put that back like so. That's why it wasn't working for me. I didn't have my trim piece down. All right. Wow, it's making so much more sense. Okay. So do you see how that works? So let's go back through that. Fold the top skinny piece down. You're going to create that M or V, mountain or valley, however you look at it, W. And then on this side, we're going to go ahead and put our tear tape right on that edge. So whatever adhesive you're going to use, you want to put it right along as close as you can get it to that fold, that score edge on there. Get my pick tool and rub across that, and then just use that spatula to pull that double-sided tape up so easily. Now we can come back in, and this piece adheres right along this 1/2 inch flap. So you want to try to line that up as good as you can get it, because the more even and neat you get it, the better looking your bag will be at the end result. Okay. And now you can pinch that, and that's where you're going to get that great bag finish. Okay. And if you don't like this sticking out a little bit, you can always come in with a little bit of, I think for this, since I've already adhesed it, I'll just put a little bit of white glue there. was having issues with my white glue the other night on my Facebook Live because it had traveled with me, and it was having elevation issues, change of elevation issues. Okay. All right. And you don't have to. Of course, yours is not going to show that part of the 5. That's just on mine where I was trying to show you. Now, we still have to do this bottom of this box. So this is where you have these cuts in there. So you're going to, that's where I made my error. So you are going to cut that and cut one more over. So if you do that, just do the same thing as I did, because it's not going to matter. It's going to go down in there. It folds down. And then right here again, along this outside edge is where you want to put your adhesive, whether that is double-sided tape or the tear tape that I'm using, or a seal, whatever you're using. So you're going to put that, and then you just press it up there. I tend to like to take my green glue, because it's a perfect size for this bag, and just push it down in there to get that all nice and adhesed well. Okay, so now there is our cute little bag. If you don't like this piece, always put it to the back. So now we have a front surface that we're going to work on. So now you've got those other pieces from your kit. And this is where you're going to have a little bit of fun again. Whatever your stamp is, you can stamp that on. You've got a butterfly. I've still got this coral flirty flamingo banner, or you might be using this petal pink tab. It's up to you. You also have, again, remember, you have that 1/2 inch strip that you cut off. So if you want to have a little bit of white and stamp something on here, you can, which is actually, I think I'm going to do that just in case. You never know what I might like. So I'm going to just stamp my little Fabulous at Any Age back on there. Okay. Definitely need to re-ink my Stays On, it appears. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that at a fun angle like so. And I think for mine, I'm going to put mine on like this. Okay. Now, before we do the final decorating, you may also want to go ahead and do your bag handles. You will need a hole punch of, I'm using the 1/8. And you're going to, if it'll go through both at the same time, that's the best. So I've punched my holes, and now you can create your little bag handles. That's why I don't make sure you have enough ribbon for your bag handles before you use them anywhere else. Because when I originally designed the kit, I designed it with bag handles in mind, not extra stuff. But I always like to give you guys ideas. So I'm going to put a little knot in the end of mine. And you may, this is a fine satin ribbon, so you may have to put a couple of knots to get it big enough to where it doesn't pull through. And you just threading that in from the inside of the bag out. I just lost my, little tab. So we're going to sit that there for the moment. All right, so you're going to pull it through, and then you're going to come back in. I'm going to do this on the front side because I'm probably only going to put one handle on the video. But just know you'll be doing 2. So from the inside of the bag, should have left it alone when I had one end in, huh? Goodness. Okay. So we've got that in. Now we're going to go back through from the outside of the bag in. Oh, me, oh my, me and my fingers. They just don't work like they used to. All right. Then I'm going to pull it tight so I have enough ribbon to put the knot in there again, or two, depending on how many it takes. And then when you pull that back through, trim those ends if you need to. And you'll do this twice, so you'll have one on each side, and that'll be your cute little handles for your bag. All right, so that's our little bag handle. Now we can go back to decorating. This is where your little wildflower paper comes into play. You can trim that down if you want. You can cut it into different shapes. You can do whatever you want with it. I wanted to trim mine down just a smidge. I gave you guys a little extra to be able to, you know, design your own thing. That's my favorite thing about paper crafting, is that you can come up with whatever you want. Now, to make this stay the most biodegradable and to where the person could use it again, I'm just literally going to put a top flap of white Tombow glue. You could also put glue dots to where someone could remove it on just the top two corners. I wouldn't let it stick all the way down. You want them to be able to easily remove that if you are gifting it, intending for them to reuse it, to plant it. Goodness. All right, here I am again. I'm cutting this butterfly and without my fussy snips, so that's going to be an adventure. Clearly, my craft room's a little chaotic. It's retiring time, and we're pulling out all the retiring items and stocking with new items, as well as I'm getting ready for my surgery. So I'll be a little bit off. Also in your kit, while I'm cutting this out, I want you to know I put a little coupon in there. So if you will contact me, whether that's via email, messenger, texting, whatever, I put my contacts on that paper, and let me know that you heard about me or learned about me through the library. You will get a free digital PDF tutorial for another fun card tutorial that features butterflies. So it's my gift to you to thank you for stamping with me during this time at the library. So now I've got this. I'm going to go ahead and put a tiny bit of adhesive. I'm really trying to limit my adhesives. And if you want less on here, you can put a little bit of powder, baby powder. I know, not so good nowadays, but facial powder, a little bit of powder on there, or you can stick it off slightly. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm going to stick that off a little bit, so it's more attached to my bag than the cute wild seed paper. And don't forget, you've got those cute little, if I can get them to get picked up here, you've got those cute little enamel dots, which I just peeled one off and it stuck it to my desk, and there mine just went flying. Okay, well, so don't forget that you've got those little dots to use as well in decorating. And I'm trying to get this one to pull off of my desk. Oh gosh, crazy. Okay. I'm going to have to use some, I've got some other gold ones here. Yours are not going to be this way. Yours are going to be black or that Calypso Flirty Flamingo color, one of those colors. Again, if you have dimensionals, this is a great place to use a dimensional on the back of the butterfly. And I really love to kind of fold my butterfly's wings up and put the dimensional in the center of the body. This one I am using a big dimensional. A lot of times I'll use small ones, but because it's going to be the only adhesive on my project right here to this wildflower paper, I'm doing a large one. And then normally, again, I have my little scissors that I use. Let's see if the putty in will work. Okay. And then I'm just going to go ahead and come in here and add a couple of these little dots. Now, again, remember, you're creating, this is your project, and you need to make it however you want and like. I hope that you'll just take my pieces and, take your pieces in your kit and assemble them however you want. So you're going to end up with some sort of fun tag, Calypso, Flirty Flamingo color, one of those colors. Again, if you have dimensionals, this is a great place to use a dimensional on the back of the butterfly. And I really love to kind of fold my butterfly's wings up and put the dimensional in the center of the body. This one I am using a big dimensional. A lot of times I'll use small ones, but because it's going to be the only adhesive on my project right here to this wildflower paper, I'm doing a large one. And then normally, again, I have my little scissors that I use. To watercoloring, and you want to try your hand at it, but you're not sure you want the expense of the watercolors, pick up, just pick up a couple of colors of ink refills. They work beautifully for that. So these are little parts and pieces. Again, you could come back in and add these on your cards at other places as well. Make the kit your own and send some positive vibes to your friends and family right now. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. That was a long one, but it was a really cool project. Thank you, Shannon, for making the videos and kits for us. All right, everybody, tune in next week for making some really awesome Valentine's Day cards. And until I get to see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep making. And have a great night, guys. Bye.